Elvis.
Hello. Hi, Elvis.
Hey, Elvis is in the building. Oh, thank you very much, man.
This morning, Chuck's Big Adventure, as you can see, getting up close and personal with all kinds of wildlife. All right, Chuck, this looks like so much fun.
Well, it really was, and it's Wilston Wildlife Park and Drive-Thru Safari, and they offer so many opportunities to engage and interact with animals that I had only seen from afar. I've got to tell you, I made a few unexpected new friends, and I loved every minute. Wow.
I'm gonna drive you guys over here.
Wilston's Drive-Thru Safari traces its roots back to 1915 when the property owner showed beautiful horses.
Thus the Brahma. Yeah, whoops. Guys, hold on. I'll get you more, okay? Hang in there. We're understaffed.
Since then, this park between French Lick and Paoli has hosted hundreds of thousands of guests.
Am I going to get my hand picked off here?
I always know when the emu's at the cars because they're either screaming bloody murder or they're laughing hysterically. Interesting fact about the emu is that their brains are actually smaller than their eyeballs. So anything that the emus do is not their fault. And that sound that you hear, that it's actually them.
From elk to kangaroos, from grizzly bears to sloths, guests see these animals up close and personal.
So that is his goal with this park, is to not only give the animals a beautiful place and work towards conservation, but also have a place where families can come and enjoy each other.
Then you take your family out here and go on this, and you'll remember it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Absolutely.
I was met at the visitor center by 3 9-week-old baby otters.
You know, otters are very curious animals, so they love to explore, they love to play.
What are some of the things about otters that people will be surprised by?
So they have to learn how to swim. They're naturally buoyant, but they don't naturally know how to swim. We love seeing animals out in their natural habitat, but by doing it this way, they get you get an opportunity to actually meet them and be able to create a connection.
So how tall is Bert?
He's about 18 feet.
The strangest encounter is with the state's 2 tallest Hoosiers, Bert and Marcello. They are larger than life, but check out the length of their tongues.
They have very long tongues, and that's so they can get leaves off the trees. You can see that their tongues are blue, and that's so that their tongues don't get sunburned.
Grizzly Ridge is designed to become the most popular attraction here. For decades, Jeff Watson has been a bear trainer with movies and TV shows like Walker, Texas Ranger.
You're right up there with them. They do know you, right? Because you've had them since they were cubs.
Right.
How do you keep that situation safe?
Well, you know, I've started when they were little. Look at them both opening that mouth up. That tongue in there. I don't want that tongue out. Oh, look how mean you look.
The safari gets you close to 50 different species.
He's got his tail up, which means he's strutting his stuff. And then what I love about here is that the animals have so much space. It's different from other zoological facilities where they're in specific enclosures.
Winter at Wilston, a trip here is like a trip around the world.
Oh my.
Now, you should do what we did. You could make a weekend out of your visit. They have several great cabins. We stayed at one, very nice, right there on the property. And I look forward to someday taking my granddaughter when she gets a little bit older, but she ain't getting near that bear. I've got details on how you can enjoy the park in my blog at WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure. And as you can imagine, there were a lot of outtakes, okay? And they are funny, and we have put those exclusively online. So go to that address and check it out. And tomorrow, we're headed to, believe it or not, this wonderful look at automotive history here in Indiana at Auburn. That is a stainless steel car that you're looking there. It is a step back in time with some of the most luxurious cars ever made, and a few others your parents or grandparents may have owned. Plus, we're going to Indiana's wonderful pickle factory that's been around for 100 years. You think, what's a big adventure about going to a pickle factory? You're going to see tomorrow right here on Sunrise.
So looking forward to it. You'll probably have to close your eyes.
I'd rather face the bear than eat the pickles.
I love pickles.
I know that we had that in common, but
I've got some for you.
Oh,
no.
Let's get to it.
I'm afraid of them. I have a phobia.
All right.
Well, all morning long, Chuck's been hanging out on the slopes at Paoli Peaks.
And you already know what I love to see about Chuck's Big Adventure is the food. So just watching it will probably make you hungry this morning.
Oh, and he found just the thing. Chuck something in town that really defines farm to table, right?
Right, and defines commitment to community. The Super Burger not only serves up delicious hamburgers, but life lessons for a lot of students in Paoli. The Super Burger has been an institution in Paoli for decades.
Maya and I met in high school. The year we got married, August of 2000.
High school sweethearts Corey and Maya Scott always joked about owning a restaurant when they retired from teaching.
And Corey, he's one of the ag teachers.
Turns out it happened a little sooner than they'd planned.
In 2013, I lost all my grandparents very, very quickly. And, it kind of got us to thinking, if we're going to do this, we really want to accomplish a goal like that, then why wait? Let's do it while we're young, and we've got the energy and the passion to do that. Just so happens the Super Burger came up for sale, and, we jumped on that.
Corey is an ag teacher at the high school and decided to incorporate the restaurant into the curriculum.
Ag's one of those things where you got to get your hands dirty and you've got to dig in there to really learn about it.
It started with 1 pig, then 2, and eventually grew into a full working barn, paid for entirely through the fundraising efforts of his students.
Even kids that won't ever be a farmer at least know there's a lot of hours, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of everything that goes into giving us our food and, being able to appreciate that.
Order up.
The program now supplies many of the pork products served at the restaurant. Corey and Maya also make it a point to recognize student athletes throughout the community through the photos throughout the restaurant.
Because we have a lot of kids and a lot of families that eat here that live in the community, so when they come in, they'll walk around and kind of look and see if their child or, their grandchild has made the wall. So it's kind of neat for people to come in and just look around at those pictures. And the burger with the fries.
Of course, we had to enjoy a burger during our visit, and let me tell you, it was fantastic. If you're really feeling adventurous, ask for the Nuke.
Just invent it.
Corey's best friend asked him to name a burger after him, and he delivered. 3 layers of beef, bacon, and cheese. It's massive.
That's like a meal for 3 people. So does he ever eat it?
Every so often.
Super Burger is more than a restaurant. It brings Paoli together. Well, Super Burger is also a part of the Visit Indiana Burger Trail. Now, I have more information on my blog at WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure. In our next half hour, we're headed back to the slopes at Paoli Peaks. But I got to tell you, Corey and Maya are the teachers that every parent hopes their children have. Not only are they're great teachers. They're at Paoli High School, but they formed this program and they have moved this into the community as a whole. They're hiring kids. The community comes and hangs out at the restaurant. It is just like a dream come true for Paoli.
Awesome.
It really is.
Did you eat that burger, by the way?
Which one? The new?
Oh,
If
the
he said which
bacon.
one, then yes.
I looked at it and I thought, I better not. But the smaller burger I had was delicious too.
Indiana Burger Trail, you said?
Indiana Burger Trail, and you can go to visitindiana.com for more on that.
This morning, Chuck's Big Adventure is probably going to make you hungry. It's already making us hungry.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of those places that, you got to see to believe, and if you know, right, Chuck?
Absolutely, and you will know now. I've heard of Bongi's Tavern in Madison County before, but had never been. And let's just say it is the perfect example of never judge a book by its cover. I was blown away by what we found inside. I can't wait to go back.
They kind of look at the building just from a picture. Right. They get online and they're thinking, Perkinsville, where is this?
Just to look at it, they think maybe, okay, we'll go in and get a burger and fries. And we don't even own a deep fryer.
That's right. No burgers and fries here, just the highest quality ingredients and a menu that's second to none.
So we've got mushrooms tonight that are portobello and shiitake.
So all the servers actually dictate the menu, explain every course and every dish.
My absolute favorite seafood of all time, it's Norwegian sea trout.
This is also a place that is very small, but that's kind of the charm of it, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And it's kind of like a family atmosphere.
Speaking of family, it's run by a father-daughter duo.
We really operate the same way. I don't know if he's intentionally molded me this way, but he and we work so well together, and we do really have that kind of same mindset of just keeping things simple.
We're having a great time at Bungie.
Bungee's definitely has a devoted following, something that was evident during the height of the pandemic when they had to quickly pivot to carry out only.
We were blown away, and it was all regular customers who have loyalty to us.
That must have been really moving for you.
Yeah, I get choked up. It's unbelievable how many, sorry about that.
That's all right.
People supported us and helped us get through it.
My husband and I, we've been doing this for 20 years.
If you mention Bungee's, immediately people say, that's the place where people tailgate.
Exactly.
Did you ever intend for that to happen?
No, it just happened on its own. I mean, we really what in the world just happened to us?
Since the pandemic, Bungee's went to a reservation-only system, but the loyalists don't plan on giving up the tailgating tradition anytime soon.
Tailgating and being able to bring your own food and then coming in and having another fantastic meal is perfect. New people know that they can come out. They're actually showing up with a reservation. They know when they get to have dinner.
Here's your world famous tomato soup.
World famous good, huh?
World famous in Perkinsville.
Of course, I had to try a little bit of everything.
And this is for one person?
Yes.
Every presentation, picture perfect.
Well, I think it's a surprise coming out, winding through the cornfield, kind of over the river. You're just surprised where you're going to end up. And then you kind of fall upon Bungee's and this quaint, comforting, little place that it is.
Well, okay, the building itself has a neat history, too. We've been talking about the food, right? Mm-hmm. But it was built back in the 1830s. And spent decades as a traditional bar with pool tables and shuffleboard, all that stuff, and it later fell on hard times, was eventually restored around the time Chef Tony took over. And again, they are now reservations only, and I have a link in my blog at WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure, and that's coming up. But I've got to tell you, I've heard about this restaurant for so many years. Julia is a big fan. If you go, you'll want to go back. The food is that good, the atmosphere is that good, and Tony and Ingrid are just wonderful, wonderful people.
I'm putting in the map right now. It's 45 minutes away. I'm going.
I thought you were trying to make a reservation.
Yeah, exactly. I got to get this,
yeah.
But it looks amazing. And so, wait, tailgating? I don't understand.
It is, I know it sounds bizarre, but now that they've changed their reservations a little different, but we just went with a big group of friends, and you never know when you're going to get in or how long it's going to be. Yeah. And we just sat out and had fun and snacks, And
the tailgate area is now fenced, and you can know when you get in now because it is reservations only. And that's better for the restaurant, that's better for the town surrounding, and it's better for everybody to have an idea of when they're going to eat.
Nice. Sounds amazing. It looks amazing. I want some of that food now. Exactly.
All right, well, this morning we're wrapping up another great week of Chuck's Big Adventure with one of Indiana's best hidden treasures.
Deep beneath the surface of southern Indiana lies an amazing system of caves. And Chuck, you got to explore some of them.
4 of them, which was really cool. In fact, the entire Indiana Cave Trail. Our state is home to some of the most diverse caves in North America, and the Indiana Cave Trail lets you explore 4 uniquely different spots. Now, Squire Boone Caverns is named after the brother of explorer Daniel Boone. The two discovered the cave while out on a hunting trip back in 1790, and today you can walk the exact same passages as the brothers did 200 years ago. Now, the day we visited, it had rained so heavily that the rushing water inside made some of the features even more impressive, including a set of rimstone dams. Now, above all, the caverns are a great place for learning.
You get some history, you also get the geology, and not just history, but pioneer history that we're losing. People don't know how lye soap is made anymore. We're going to show you. People don't know how candles are dipped. During the summer, we're going to show you how we do that too. So we try to bring a little bit of that history back so the kids can see what happened in the 1800s.
Now, if you look hard enough, you can find one of the cave's most unique formations. the Ostrich Leg. It was actually discovered by a child during a tour in the 1970s, and it has been a popular stop on the tour ever since. And Squire Boone Caverns also has a fantastic outdoor village to enjoy, especially in the summer. And I've got a link to all of this in my blog, but you can get one of these helmets at any one of the 4 caves. And we're going to take a look at the 4 caves in depth a little bit later. But I must tell you, out of all the places in Indiana that we've visited, that I would bring, you know, my wife or a family to just really get a fun experience and a learning experience, Indiana Cave Trail's it. There is nothing like it in the Midwest.
Is it cold inside?
56 degrees. If it's 2 degrees outside, it's 56. If it's 102, it's 56 in these caves all year long. So a jacket or a sweater will do it.
You can use that hat, by the way, to take out Senator at night now that you have it.
Yeah, no kidding. In fact, you might need a hard hat just because of the slick roads out there.
Welcome back, 6-11 this morning in Chuck's Big Adventure. It's a tour for the taste buds.
It sure is. In fact, let me ask you, Julia, what do you like on a burger? Ketchup, mustard?
Pickles.
Pickles,
Sure.
all right. That's a very good answer. A good pickle can really amplify the flavor of a burger or a pulled pork sandwich or a Chick-fil-A sandwich. And there's a place here in Indiana that's been making the delicious toppings for 100 years.
Sweet, spicy, kosher and candied. There's nothing like the taste of a cold, crunchy pickle.
So let's try a dill now. And that crunch, you know, the crunch that you can almost hear it.
Especially when it comes from here.
Well, Max, we're all ready. I've got my hat on to protect my hair in the singular, of course.
Yep.
And so we're going to see the tour now, right?
Yep, we're gonna go look, we're gonna make some pickles and you can see how it's done.
Seckler's is a legendary pickle plant that has produced delicious dills and groovy gherkins for over 100 years.
So a lot of these recipes go back, you know, 80 to 90 years.
So even before the Great Depression.
The process from farm to table is fascinating.
Each one of these tanks holds about a semi-load of pickles.
The pickles start outside in huge vats to ferment for several weeks.
If you bite into a pickle right now out of this, you'd probably spit it out of your mouth because it's so salty. Like what you saw cutting in the cutting room would have been pickles that we brought in yesterday. They've shrunk a little bit, but we'll take them inside and we cook them with fresh water. And once they get done with that, they plump back up, the salt's taken out.
After that, they become sweet or savory, kept whole or sliced, and put into glass jars. They make 50 kinds of pickles, and with every crispy cucumber comes the expertise of generations of employees, some who have passed the talent on from the same family.
This is an Indiana company from way back.
Our 101st year. Yeah, so we're a small farm community, and so we'll have a lot of husbands and wives that have worked here, and we have like fathers and daughters, or fathers and sons. We'll have someone that comes through here shopping, and they'll be like, I worked here 30 years ago, or I worked here 50 years ago, or I worked with Donnie Seckler. You know, a fond memory of this being their first real job.
Seckler's pickles tempt every palate, from the super sweet to the hot, really hot pickles.
So, and then
a good pickle has a good crunch, right?
Yep, some spices that are going to be in there and some onion flavor that are going to come with the bread and butter.
It has a bite, but it's nice and sweet.
First, you're going to taste sweet, and then the heat's going to catch up to you.
Really good.
Yeah, just a little bit of bite.
Seckler's is still going strong after a century of production and helps us all not forget that a hamburger is nothing without the pickle.
A citrus pickle, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Wow. That's my new favorite pickle.
Well, one thing I've noticed as I've gotten older is that my tastes have changed, and that's very, very common, by the way. I like sweeter pickles now, and Max says that that is pretty much what people do feel as they get older. So it's time to sample the pickles, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me what you've got and take a bite.
So mine is a sweet orange pickle.
And that's my favorite.
It is amazing. Oh my gosh.
I think that's going to be the most popular pickle in America. I kid you not.
I
in 10
hate
years.
sweet pickle. Is that sweet though?
A little.
Okay.
But you'll change when you get
You
my
think
age.
so?
You
Don't
really
worry, when
will.
you get old, you'll like
As you get old, you like the sweeter pickles. And
Okay.
she called me old. I'm
No,
not,
that's
never
right. I
forgetting
didn't
that.
say it, Chuck. I didn't say it. I have just regular dill, and I feel like
Okay.
this is an ASMR video. Can you hear the crunch?
It's now on your blouse. There we go.
There we go.
No.
All right, I am
Sorry
not a
about
fan
that.
of.
It's worth it.
I'm not a fan of pickles at all. I have the sweet mixed pickles, and this is. Oh gosh, here we go.
Oh man.
Okay. Now, for those of you that do like pickles, Seckler's is a premium pickle. So they're not cheap, but you get what you pay for there. And support it. You can go to there and tour eventually, but not right now. They've been put on hold because of the pandemic, but they will be available during the St. Joe Pickle Festival, which draws tens of thousands of people to St. Joe in July. Seckler's also makes other products you can order online. My link is in my blog at WTHR.com/Chuck'sBigAdventure.
That's actually a really good pickle. That's a good pickle.
It is.
I've been watching
It's
your face,
good.
waiting for you to crack the whole time.
I have all my life. I've been afraid of pickles. This is a good pickle. This is good.
Well, we're kind of in a pickle with the weather.
Most of us, we splash on cologne or some perfume or some body spray in the morning. We don't think too much about it when we do it. We just want to smell nice.
Right, but did you know there's a place right here in Indiana where you can create your own custom scent?
And coming up next on Chuck's Big Adventure, taking us to this place, tell us all about it. What a fun experience.
Well, I tell you, there's nothing like this in America, much less just in Indiana. I would have never expected a small northern Indiana town to be home to the nation's only natural perfumery. I got a chance to sit down with the woman behind the scents, and it was truly a captivating experience. Ligonier, Indiana is the city of murals with over a dozen beautiful paintings on the sides of the town's downtown building. Well, walk just a few blocks east,
We do use the finest ingredients in the world.
and Ligonier becomes the city of smells.
You never tire of smelling that, Renee.
Welcome to Annie Oakley Perfumery and Studio,
This is frankincense.
America's only natural perfumery.
It creates aromatic therapy, and it's very peaceful.
That is beautiful.
If anybody would like to come and test them out and tell me that they've smelt better, I've not heard it yet.
It's an olfactory extravaganza.
I just love it. It hits your heart, doesn't it?
Scents from around the world all in one spot, with a studio that lets guests create their own individual scent. I get up bright and early in the morning and I want to be happy.
We want them to experience the beauty of these fragrances, of these scents. We've got Breathe Pure, because you want to open up your senses. And then we have Rise and Shine, and then we have a blend of pure happiness. They start engaging into creating and smelling the beautiful scents.
And this is going to be called Sunrise.
And you get the first to smell it.
Wow.
They leave here very happy.
Renee Gabbett started this business as a single mother nearly 40 years ago, and she's seen it grow into a multi-million-dollar company.
Renee, I'm looking at these bottles. This is where it all began originally, right?
It is. I wanted to introduce the first cowgirl fragrance in the world, and I came across a natural perfumer and asked him if he would help me, and he said yes. So we worked together. It took us a year, maybe a year and a half. Then we came up with the scents, and I launched the first cowgirl fragrance in the world.
Despite her global travels to find new scents, home is still Indiana.
I do travel all over the world. It's so good to be home, to drive the farmland. My family's here. You think maybe the grass is greener on the other side? Not really.
Annie Oakley is a great place to travel on a cold Indiana afternoon and enjoy the joy of beautiful scents, no matter how bitter the day.
I feel pure, I feel happy, and I feel sunny. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Oh, what a great time with Renee. And you can learn more about the perfumery and making your own scent in my blog at WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure. They have tours. It's a place everybody will enjoy. women, even men. In fact, Carlos,
here we go.
there's your scent. They make some man scents. That one is called Blue Ridge. I chose that one for you because of our Blue Ridge Parkway trip in Chuck's Big Adventure. But now, Julia, what do you think of Sunrise?
I love, love, love this. And when I put it on there, there's like a little... just a little tingle almost that kind of wakes you up.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like invigorating a little bit. It makes you
so, Julia, for you, we've got everything from honey to lavender.
That's my favorite
to
one, too, the citrus honey. I thought it would be the verbena one, but it's the citrus honey that just smells like sunshine.
I would never have thought in a million years that is a place that we would go for the Big Adventure, but it was so much fun. Renee was great.
6:42, time to kick off another Chuck's Big Adventure, and this time we're keeping it right here in Indiana.
When you think winter in Indiana, you think basketball, not skiing, but there is some great skiing in Indiana.
Yeah, and Chuck, you got to try it out firsthand, giving us a peek this morning.
Oh, it's a wonderful place. Paoli Peaks, in case you didn't know, is just 2 hours south of Indianapolis. They've got 15 runs for all ability levels, and even if there's no nature-made snow on the ground, that's no problem here.
Paoli Peaks has been a winter destination for decades.
What is it about Paoli Peaks that has made it so sustainable over all these years?
The reason we're able to do what we do is the community and the people.
With the mature skiers of Paoli Peaks, they are dynamite. Let's do it.
Of course, the weather plays a big role as well. Paoli is not in a cold environment. Only 16 inches of natural snow falls here annually, but for our visit, the facility had plenty to go around.
When people come out here, when the peaks open, how much snow is there on the ground?
Depending on what area you're going to be in, there could be anywhere from 10 to 12 feet that you're standing on top of.
12 feet?
Correct. Down to anywhere from less than a foot.
This is just beautiful.
Hoosiers who love skiing, there are a lot of them here, and Paoli Peaks is part of the lexicon of their lives.
Barry, it is very rare that a Hoosier boy can say, I grew up skiing in the state and my career is skiing in the state, but that must be very neat for you.
Oh yeah, it's been amazing. Yeah.
How did you go about getting your love for skiing?
Well, I'd say it started when I was young. Started skiing here at 5 and just been skiing ever since. It just grows with you.
Memories are made here, sometimes from generation to generation.
As we look at really making sure that skiing is going to live on, it's making sure that we get that to the younger generation and they can really experience the fun and joy that we all have and been able to experience most of our lives.
Paoli Peaks' claim to fame is the pristine quality of the slopes. The staff works hard to make the ride down the trail smooth and fast, just like the ones in Beijing.
So the corduroy that we talk about is the grooves in the snow that you see. The corduroy that we're putting down here at Paoli Peaks is going to be very similar to the corduroy that they use, on all of their racetracks.
And that corduroy is important for traction and for grip and all.
Yeah, and it just makes things look nice.
You think of Indiana as a winter wonderland, but don't tell that to the skiers here. For them, there's no place they'd rather be.
Whether it's skiing or even snow tubing, there is joy to be found in winter that a lot of people just overlook because they don't want to face the cold. But when you're out moving, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. I think there's always, like to phrase it this way, there's one person standing up having a good time, the other person's making a snow angel having a good time.
So no matter what you do, it's a good time, right? If you're thinking about heading to Paoli Peaks, make sure to hop on their website and get your tickets ahead of time. Be sure to do that. Now, I have a link in my blog, WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure.
So if you had to guess, how deep you think that is?
It looks really deep. It looks like maybe 10 or 12, 14 feet deep.
It does.
What is it?
It's only 6 inches.
6 inches deep?
I'm not joking.
Oh, and you can see the bottom with the flashlight. Wow.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Well, the surprises just keep on coming on Chuck's Big Adventure. Chuck, that is so cool.
Yeah, what a river, huh?
Yeah.
We found so many incredible things under our feet as part of the Indiana Cave Trail.
So you want to know, where is this one we're going to see now?
Well, Mirror Lake, Jalea, is part of Moringo Cave, probably the most recognizable name on the trail.
Yeah.
I knew as soon as we walked in, this place is special. And the further we went into the cave, the more there was to discover. There's a room where you can see natural formations that look just like the Great Wall of China and the Grand Canyon. A little further in, the impressive music hall. You can fit 800 people in that area, in that cave. They're beautifully lit stage for concerts. There's a room for many to enjoy the perfect acoustics in the space. And the room also has a penny ceiling where the clay will hold and catch your coin if you're lucky. Let's just say I got to keep my change because it bounced and hit me in the head. But every few years they clean the ceiling and they donate thousands of dollars to local charities. And while each cave on the trail is considerably different, there is one thing that remains the same. Each one stays a consistent cool temperature, the average annual temperature above ground, which is 56 or so.
And it's the fact that we are in an environment that's normally humid. Forests, trees, all that.
Right.
And normally around the 50s, that's the average temperature where it would stay kind of like in between.
So if it's 100 outside, it's in the low 50s here. If it's 20 below outside, it's still in the low 50s. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is a wonderful thing to do in the winter.
Exactly, exactly. We are open all year long, closed 2 days a year. It's a thing that somebody can do no matter what time of year.
So it really is the perfect family activity any time of the year. And for the warmer months, well, they have a great outdoor space to enjoy, including a giant maze. Let's just say, no surprise here, they had to come and find me. Well, I have links in my blog at WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure, and we're going to have more coming up here for you in a little bit.
What I love about this big adventure is that we see all these amazing things, and they're a short drive away. I mean,
2-hour drive away, 2.5 to the Indiana Cave Trail. 4 unique caves, 4 unique places.
I think my favorite part is the 56 degrees that's inside
all
the cave.
Year,
That's
no
not
matter what it's
intimidating.
like
I like
outside.
the sound of that.
well, all this week, Chuck's Big Adventure has shown us some great things to do around Indiana, above ground, that is.
And this morning, we're headed underground to explore what's beneath the surface. Chuck, this is so cool.
You know, this was the part of the Winter in Indiana piece that we were looking forward to the most, and it did not disappoint. Let's focus on one cave, though. Indiana Caverns is the newest stop on the Indiana Cave Trail, discovered just over a decade ago. What makes this place so unique is what you'll find buried in the mud. The cave is home to one of the largest deposits of Ice Age bones in the state. Everything from Ice Age bison to flathead peccaries. And our guide Sarah told me the main reason is because the Ice Age entrance was easily accessible, but once these creatures encountered total darkness, there was a large drop-off, and most could not get back up after they fell in. So when it comes to exploring these caves, there's one thing I really wanted to know. What's the difference between a caver and a spelunker, or is it the same thing?
Not the same thing.
Okay, what's the difference?
The difference between a caver and a spelunker, cavers rescue spelunkers, is the difference.
So you're a caver.
I am a caver, yes. Anytime I take people through the cave that, you know, I'm here for that spelunking trip, I always stop and go, we don't spelunk here, we do real caving here. I'm going to take you on a real cave adventure.
Sarah with the win. Wow. A unique feature at Indiana Caverns is the cave dolphin. Let's just say we became fast friends.
So you have our cave dolphin just up above us here. Likes to give cave kisses when you walk underneath of it.
There we go, right in the eye. Well, above the surface, Indiana Caverns also has an incredibly cool gift shop and some fun outside attractions like the Bat Chaser Zip Coaster. So we have a link to all of this in our blog. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to examine each one of the caves. The great thing about the Indiana Cave Trail, and I really, folks, really want you to go see this stuff, is that each cave is unique. It's got its own personality, its own history, and they are really separate in their focus.
Did you have a favorite?
Yes, I did, but I'm not going to say.
Okay, that's fair.
But I think you could tell that every one of these, once you see the piece, every one of these is worth going to. Now, Moringo Cave by far is the most famous, and you see these billboards along the interstates throughout the Midwest. But Squire Boone is the most historic, and we're going to see all of these caves in a few minutes.
I learned that spelunkers are here, cavers are here.
Well, spelunkers are here and cavers are there, according to these folks. And we're going to have much more on this in a bit. Oh, by the way, you could go down there today, even though it's 17 degrees right now. Yeah. It's 56 inside the cave year-round, so that's good.
Let me have your pole.
Okay, so things are getting pretty wild this morning on Chuck's Big Adventure. Really wild, actually.
Yeah, Chuck, I'm hoping that you either have a stunt double or that is stunt double, or that's not your hand. Please tell me that's not your hand.
It wasn't my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honey, it's okay. Don't worry, we left that to the professional, by the way. During our visit to Wilston Wildlife Park, I got a chance to meet Jeff the Bear Man. And let me just say, it was an experience I will never forget.
Wilston Wildlife Park is full of incredible animal encounters.
What's up, man?
Hello.
Elvis.
Hello. Hi, Elvis.
Hey, Elvis is in the building. Oh, thank you very much, man.
But the most thrilling part may just be these guys.
No, I try to be very clear to them. These are wild animals. They're never tame. It's just conditioning.
Meet Bob and Screech.
I think that people have generally an idea about what a grizzly bear is and what it is not. And I would say people think what it is: beautiful, aggressive, dangerous.
Sure.
How many of those are true?
All of them.
All of them.
Oftentimes you'll get people to say it's a bloodthirsty man-eater or it's a teddy bear. And it can be somewhere in between. And it just depends on the situation that you're in.
For decades, Jeff the Bear Man Watson has been a bear trainer.
Well, I've started when they were little.
He's worked in movies and TV shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, and reality shows like 2013's Porter Ridge, shot near Spencer, Indiana.
Give me that.
Wow.
Now give me a wide.
Wow.
Oh, look at you, big boy. Good boy.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's just a trained behavior. That if you see a bear in a movie standing and roaring, it could be salmon, trout, a cookie, and then they dub in the vocalizations. I try to read them every day, and if they're showing me any signs that they're a little edgy, I back off. Kind of like being married.
Jeff loves this new job because he works hands-on with his bears, and guests can safely see him interact with these huge creatures.
Bob and Screech have two diverse personalities as well, right?
Yeah. Every bear has its own personality. Bob and Screech are Cain and Abel. They're brothers, and Screech is, if a bear could be like a dog, it would be Screech. If a bear is more like a bear, it's Bob. Now, Screech here, if I put a cookie on my leg and I tell him to wait and I cover it up, he doesn't take my hand. Bob, on the other hand, would take the hand. You see, okay.
He'd take the hand.
Oh yeah, and the kneecap, and he'd get a cookie in the middle.
So he still gets the cookie, he just gets part of the buffet.
Yeah, so it's totally different animals. I just like sharing what I do with people, and I do believe that there are people who are drawn to the conservation of bears because they've seen my bears over the years. And I don't try to portray them as dogs for other people. I don't want people to think that you can get in there and make a pet out of it, even though it may appear as such when I'm doing this. But sometimes they've got to see something like this for them to have an affinity for the animal, to have a respect for the animal, to care about the animal, to go into conservation. Come on, Robert. All right, one more. There you go. So that's just the classic pose right there.
Well, if you want to learn more about booking your own encounter with Jeff and his bears, I have the link in my blog at WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure. I didn't say slash around those bears, by the way. Did you know that at one point, Indiana was the home to many black bears, like many, many. They are all gone in our state right now. And those are not black bears, those are grizzly bears. But I found it to be dangerous, adventurous, and you get to keep your distance. But I learned more about bears in an hour with Jeff than I had my whole life.
Do not try this at home.
Absolutely do not try that.
That is not Winnie the Pooh right there.
And he knows there are some days they will not have the encounter because the bears don't feel like it.
I would go
Gotta
with
respect
that.
the distance
Absolutely.
It has been a busy week for Chuck and his big adventure. This time he is keeping it close to home, checking out great Indiana destinations for you and your family.
This morning he is sharing a sneak peek of some of the unique places he's found so far.
Hey everybody, welcome to Glacier Castle. It's in western Indiana, and it's the latest stop on our Chuck's Big Adventure shoots for winter in Indiana. This is one of the most unique facilities in the Midwest. It's a bed and breakfast with a medieval flair, fit for a king or a queen or a musketeer. From castles to caves, we're headed south to visit Indiana's Cave Trail. 4 caves, 4 unique settings, 4 memorable trips. The Cave Trail is our state's most awe-inspiring destination.
This is Mother Nature's canvas, and she has done one heck of a job.
So Chuck, have you ever experienced total darkness?
I guess total darkness, no.
Say, well, we're gonna do that right now. I'm gonna turn off all the lights.
Okay.
If you're afraid of the dark, just close your eyes. No one will know.
Is it okay if I cry?
No one will know. It'll be fine. So here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Whoa.
You always bring extra, because if your light goes out,
that's it.
That's it.
Are those grizzly bears? Yes. Is that a man with the grizzly bears? Yes. We'll take you behind the scenes to the fascinating life of Jeff the Bear Man. And we'll take you to a place where you can see animals from all over the world, and you never have to leave Indiana, do you? It's all coming up at a trip to Wilston Wildlife Park. These stories and many more as Chuck's Big Adventure keeps it right here for winter in Indiana, coming up in February.
He can do it all, right? You can also follow along online at WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure. Yep, he can make anything work, even as a musketeer.
And who knew that bears and, the camels and everything were right in our backyard? Look forward to that. 6:43, and this morning Chuck's Big Adventure is going medieval.
Yeah, Chuck, I saw some of your pictures while you're shooting the story, you in the 12th century attire. I can't wait to hear more about this castle.
Well, Carlos, if you're looking for one of the most unique bed and breakfasts in the nation, look no further than Bowling Green, Kentucky. And what makes it even better is meeting the royal family behind this medieval marvel.
Follow the signs through a winding maze of back roads, through the gates, up the drive, and you'll discover Glacier Castle.
Hello!
Oh, welcome to Glacier Castle, Lord Charles. You're welcome.
It's a pleasure seeing you.
Feeling a little underdressed? No need to worry, they've got you covered.
You are dressed kind of funny. I mean, you're in a castle. I'm dressed appropriately. You're dressed a little odd. What do you say we try on a few outfits that we have?
And I'm ready. Lord Douglas, let's get medieval.
Now that I'm properly dressed, it was time to check out the themed guest rooms.
It's a woodsy type of theme or enchanted forest.
To the fairy tale room.
And that would be Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Even a wine cellar, complete with a tub.
What was it that brought an engineer and a pediatrician back into the 11th or 12th century?
We decided we like bed and breakfasts, but we don't like the traditional bed and breakfast.
We didn't want to just stop what we were doing and sit around and do nothing. We couldn't do that. That's just not in our bloods. There you go.
We like to be out in the country.
This is a great view, Lord Douglas.
So we said, well, why don't we build a castle? We tell our guests we had to get 120 acres because to outdo Winnie the Pooh's 100-acre woods. Most people thought we were crazy. We have a bridge over there with a troll living under it.
Took over my bedroom.
And it's truly a family affair. Daughter Katie, heiress of Glacier Castle, actually started drawing up the design plans years ago.
I was probably in high school when I started drawing ideas for what we would do. And how it's really taken off has been it's a delight to see.
Look carefully. Perched above the Great Hall, the castle's inspiration.
Our first commitment was up there, Sir William. He's our suit of armor. But when we purchased him, it was our commitment that we would go ahead and do the castle.
What a time. That included a lesson in protecting a fair damsel.
Tip at eye level and this hand up to block the blows.
Early on, ye old breakfast is served.
My lord?
A royal morning feast.
It's a breakfast fit for a king.
Thinking of sleeping in? No chance.
Breakfast is served!
This is more than a romantic getaway. With a proper hello, Glacier Castle is a kiss for all ages.
And you do a curtsy.
We built the castle and we have loved every minute of it.
Glacier Castle in Bowling Green, Indiana, not Kentucky, Indiana. And as you might expect, Glacier Castle is also a very popular place to get married. I loved everything about our visit and can't wait to go back and enjoy it with my wife. Now, if you want to learn more, I have a link in my blog. Tomorrow, we're taking you to a hidden dining experience where there's more than meets the eye. And the show is going to the animals, from kangaroos to giraffes, otters and emus. We're going on safari at Wilston Wildlife Park. It's a bucket list destination for the whole family. So make sure you join us on sunrise tomorrow morning. By the way, those were 3-week-old triplet otter boys.
Oh my gosh.
They were wild.
I need to know how early that breakfast wake-up call is.
It's usually around 8:30. For us, it was earlier.
Okay.
And if you want it earlier, Jalea, they can make it.
That would be my request, a little earlier.
She said she needs a bed and brunch, right? Not a bed and breakfast.
Well, today, Chuck's Big Adventure is taking us for a trip down memory lane in style.
Yes, this is great. Chuck, I know you got to visit a town in Northeast Indiana that is all about celebrating Indiana auto history.
This is a place, honestly, every Hoosier should visit, and bring your kids too. You know, the Hoosier State played a huge role in the early days of auto manufacturing, especially when it comes to luxury rides. Well, I got the chance to tour 3 of Auburn's auto museums to explore our lasting place in car history.
We are in a 1936 Cord 810.
For classic car lovers,
you're not going to see a larger collection of Auburn's Cords and Duesenbergs anywhere else in the world.
Auburn, Indiana is a slice of heaven.
Brandon, this place is just, to me, a celebration of wonderful, especially luxury car making in Indiana. I'm sure that when people come here, it's pretty awe-inspiring.
Yeah, I call us an automotive mecca, and this is kind of our automotive church.
The Auburn Cord Duesenberg Museum celebrates near century-old luxury, all made right here in Indiana.
I look at this and I think, this is not what I expect for 1928.
Everything was very ahead of its time. Wow. And what's also really unique too with these Model X's, there are only 4 Model X's left in the world. You're standing with 3 of them. Oh my goodness. The 4th one is in Jay Leno's collection.
The nearby National Auto and Truck Museum has a broader selection of vehicles, designed to bring back memories for some and bring others a glimpse of history.
So a lot of people come here and they say, hey, I had, or my dad, or my grandpa.
Yeah, it's about the memories, and every vehicle here has a story.
The star of the show, the rare GM Futureliner. Even by today's standards, this vehicle has a space-age look.
Like this car, you could climb in it and run to California.
Just off I-69 near Auburn,
every one of these cars was somebody's labor of love,
is the early Ford V8 Foundation Museum. It celebrates a brief time in history between 1932 and 1953 when Ford produced a unique engine and car.
That's the flathead era. That's the era of the flathead V8. And then that's the years it spans, so that's the years we collect. This is why they call it a flathead. There's nothing in this head but the water jacket and the spark plugs. Because our unique thing was these were cars that anybody could buy. Anybody could own one of these cars pretty easily.
Nate, if someone says to you, I've never seen a stainless steel car like this before, it's because there aren't many left, right?
Right, I think there's only 4 left. There were 6 in 1936 punched out. There's a lot of room. The thing about this is if your girlfriend wanted to sit next to you, she could sit next to you.
Another showstopper, the 40 Lincoln Zephyr.
So these cars were built obviously many, many years ago, but this one is not a rough driving car.
No, this thing's like riding on a cloud of air. This thing is so smooth that you just don't realize that, oh, it's 30 miles an hour and I'm running 45.
Even if you aren't a car fan, a trip to Auburn may convert you. Spend some time, take a ride, and keep the Hoosier history of automobiles alive.
Auburn is the perfect automotive Mayberry.
Oh, what a time we had. And one of the coolest things about these cars is that they still run. Now, the museum takes pride in making sure each of these automobiles is in working order, and that even includes the GM Futureliner. And if you were with us earlier, you heard the exciting news that we're breaking right here. That GM Futureliner is going to be part of the 500 Festival Parade in May. Nice. Yeah. So all of you can see it for yourself, and I have a link to all the museums in my blog. That was great news. I'm so glad to bring around. I want to thank our producer, Megan Simpson, for helping to make that happen. Now, we are wrapping things up tomorrow with a trip deep underground. I hope you'll join us as we explore the Indiana Cave Trail. 4 unique caves, 4 incredible stories. I can't wait to show you what we found. If you ever thought there's nothing to do in winter in Indiana, oh, no. There is plenty to do, and we've been privileged to bring you many of those this week.
Kind of the 4 corners of Indiana. Been a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, we've been everywhere.
Well, this morning, Chuck's Big Adventure is taking us to a place that is hidden in plain sight.
Southern Indiana is filled with rolling hills, but it's what's under the ground that is a whole nother world.
And Chuck has found this for sure and is giving us, I won't even say a sneak peek this morning. We got to go in depth a little bit.
We are going in depth, and what a way to close out our Winter in Indiana series on Chuck's Big Adventure. I'll admit, Indiana is definitely not the first place that comes to mind when you think of caves, but a visit to the Indiana Cave Trail absolutely changed my mind.
They cannot believe all of this is underground, right under your feet.
Indiana's Cave Trail is one of the most unique in the country.
So you can kind of see it pulsing.
So this part of the caverns is where the 2 main levels come together.
For hundreds of miles, caves weave their way under the surface.
And the deepest point of our tour is going to be 200 feet.
The trail celebrates 4 separate caves with 4 unique stories.
Mother Nature at her best.
We began our wild, wonderful adventure at one of our state's most historic sites, Squire Boone Caverns.
This is the natural entrance to the cave.
Named after Daniel Boone's exploring brother, history and natural beauty are celebrated here.
They actually came in right behind us, and they crawled 300 feet through a passageway, up 3 waterfalls, 2 8-foots and a 12. And then they finally got here. Even though these formations grow really slow, you still see something new every single time you come.
This is my personal favorite. Rock of Ages, 60 feet worth of stalactite, stalagmite draperies, and it's all underground.
I truly believe that God had a hand.
Well, you look at this and you think, well done, Lord.
Indiana Caverns is the youngest of the caves, discovered in 2010.
So think of a big pig-like creature about the size of a Doberman pinscher. That's your flat-headed peccary.
It's part of the Binkley Cave system. Nearly 36 miles of passageways discovered so far.
This is the first big room you come into. It's called Big Bone Mountain, where you'll see most of the formations and a lot of Ice Age bones and fossils along the way. But that blue light up there points out where the Ice Age entrance used to be.
Speaking of total darkness, a visit to Indiana Caverns includes a boat ride and a truly pitch black experience.
I'm gonna turn off all the lights.
Okay.
If you're afraid of the dark, just close your eyes. No one will know.
Is it okay if I cry?
On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Whoa.
This is what we call Music Hall.
Next stop, Moringo Cave, the state's most famous cave and a U.S. National Natural Landmark since 1984.
Moringo Cave was actually discovered back in 1883 by 2 children. Came down this hole 40 feet on their stomachs until they found part of the cave. They actually planned on keeping a secret at first, which they actually did that for about 3 days. And only 1 week later, we started doing the walking tours in here.
1 week later?
Just 1 week, yeah. So nothing was really done for that first tour. They just came down the same hole like the kids did with the candle in their hand. And later on, they used kerosene lanterns in here.
There's even a section where you can explore like the early cavers did.
So you can only imagine all the things they actually missed.
The most impressive part of the cave, the Crystal Palace.
So this room basically is the history summed up all together, showing off all the features to our cave, the formations, our levels.
Of all the caves on the trail, Blue Springs is the most unique.
We have what is the longest navigable underground river in the U.S.
I think that's the thing that has impressed me most with the cave trail, is that every single one of the 4 caves has its own uniqueness and its own drawing power.
It's so surprising how few people do know. People think of caves, they think of Kentucky or Carlsbad in New Mexico. Indiana actually has probably the greatest variety of types and manners of caves of anywhere in the country, all right together.
Well, unfortunately, the day we visited Blue Spring, the water was too high from the East Fork of the White River for the boat tour. Now, the cave trail has a passport. You stamp all four, and you get a T-shirt, and it's cool too. See that spotted gecko? He is the mascot of the Indiana Cave Trail, and if you look very closely, you're going to see that dude in every one of the caves.
You can actually get married in one of those caves?
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, Moringo Cave in the music hall there, married, Christmas concerts, you name it. Seats hundreds of people, and you're way down underground.
Wow.
It's just so incredible.
And it's right here in Indiana.
That takes me back to a time that I visited a cave as a child. I remember my mom was just talking about how amazing she thought that was. And I'm looking at this in perspective, and I can see why this is something that people are like, I want to take my kids to.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I think if you have a child, this is absolutely a must to get to know our state. Now, if you're looking for even more adventure, a couple of the caves also offer crawling tours. And you guys can check that out, where you can explore many of the passageways off the main path. Just get ready to get filthy dirty. Now, I've got a link to all 4 caves and everywhere else we've been this week in my blog. Just go to WTHR.com/Chuck's Big Adventure. Thanks to Scott Graber, our photographer, and Megan Simpson, our producer, for a wonderful time.
This has been a great week. Loved all
Thank
these
you.
places.
It's been fun.
To put them all on our calendar.
And now reality.
Yeah.